I don't think that we can ever have peace with my family unless the truth is out there.
The palace gates, always a symbol of enduring monarchy and carefully guarded tradition, seemed to hold a silence heavier than usual as reports began to swirl. Camilla, Queen Consort, had been officially removed from royal duties. It was not a slow withdrawal veiled in quiet retirement or a gentle step back into the shadows of Windsor. No, this was different. It was swift, public, and jarring. The news landed with the force of thunder. Queen Camilla had been ousted from the royal family following a revelation by Prince William that tied her, however controversially, to the tragic death of his mother, Princess Diana. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. For years, the royal family had carefully managed their narrative, shielding themselves behind layers of protocol and pageantry. Camilla had, after decades of public scrutiny, been cautiously integrated into the fabric of monarchy following her marriage to then Prince Charles. It had not been an easy transition. Public sentiment had long resisted the notion of her as queen. The ghost of Diana loomed large, and Camilla, despite efforts to soften her image, remained a polarizing figure. But this was a rupture of a different magnitude. The revelation did not come through whispering tabloids or speculative memoirs. It was Prince William himself, now the heir apparent, who broke the silence. In a private but irrefutably confirmed discussion with senior palace aides, William allegedly uncovered and shared information linking Camilla to manipulations and events surrounding his mother's final days. Information long buried beneath layers of secrecy and misinformation. Whether it was direct involvement, strategic influence, or knowledge concealed at crucial moments, the nature of the revelation was enough to send shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. Camilla's position had always been fragile, resting on carefully constructed foundations. Her initial role in Charles's life as the other woman had cast her in a shadow that never fully disappeared. No matter how polished her public appearances became, or how dutifully she attended royal engagements, the monarchy had fought a long and deliberate battle to rebrand her image, not as Diana's usurper, but as Charles's steadfast companion. However, the emotional weight of Diana's legacy was never truly lifted. To implicate Camilla in any way, even tangentially, in Diana's untimely death was to destroy decades of public relations effort and potentially unravel trust within the very heart of the monarchy. William's revelation was more than a personal reckoning. It represented a shift in generational power and priorities. As the future king, his influence could no longer be confined to ceremonial obligations. By naming Camilla and effectively forcing her exit, he was sending a message, not only to his family but to the nation and the institution he is poised to lead. This act wasn't driven by vengeance or emotion alone. It signaled a deeper demand for truth, accountability, and a re-examination of the monarchy's inner dealings during its most turbulent era. The consequences within royal walls were immediate. Meetings were held behind closed doors, advisors moved with urgency, and for the first time in recent memory, public statements were delayed, each moment marked by a growing tension in the air. Camilla was quickly removed from all upcoming engagements. Her portrait, which had only recently found its place among the royal gallery, was taken down. Aides no longer referred to her as Queen Consort. She was, as of that moment, simply Camilla, stripped of title and standing, her future uncertain. Beyond palace walls, public response was electric. The long-held suspicions and whispered accusations regarding Camilla's presence in the royal narrative came flooding back into collective memory. The public had always retained a complicated, emotional loyalty to Princess Diana, the People's Princess, whose death in 1997 had never been fully divorced from royal dysfunction. The idea that Camilla might have been complicit in or adjacent to that tragedy ignited fury and vindication in equal measure. Media coverage exploded. Broadcasters looped footage of Diana in her most vulnerable interviews. Social media lit up with renewed discussions about the final days of Diana's life, the role of the press, and the decisions made behind palace doors. Old theories resurfaced, no longer dismissed as conspiracy but examined with fresh urgency. Camilla's past, once tidily tucked away behind royal approval, was laid bare again. William's decision to speak out also highlighted the evolving nature of royalty in the modern era. No longer could the palace rely solely on tradition and silence. The younger generation, particularly William and Harry, had shown a growing willingness to break with the stoicism of the past. Though the brothers have taken divergent paths, they have each in their way voiced truths that challenge the established order. In this context, William's act of disclosure marked a pivotal transformation, from heir to reformer, from dutiful prince to active shaper of the monarchy's future. What made the situation even more explosive was the credibility attached to William's words. As Diana's eldest son, his voice carried a personal truth that resonated deeply with the public. He was not an outsider speculating on past events. He was a direct witness to the emotional devastation wrought by his mother's treatment and eventual death. His emotional intelligence and moral authority lent weight to his accusations in a way that no journalist or biographer ever could. Inside the royal family, fault lines deepened. Charles, now king, was reportedly stunned. Camilla had not only been his wife, but his closest confidant. Her sudden removal placed his judgment and leadership under intense scrutiny. It also raised uncomfortable questions about what he knew and when he knew it. The monarch, now in the later years of his reign, was forced into the most difficult balancing act of his life, defending his institution while confronting the cracks within it. His silence in the days following the revelation spoke volumes, hinting at either paralysis, disbelief, or a desperate need for damage control. The machinery of monarchy, built to withstand wars and abdications, now found itself vulnerable to emotional truth. The Queen Consort's departure wasn't just a personal or familial matter, it was constitutional. It challenged the very framework of royal legitimacy and succession. If Camilla had ascended to her role through manipulation or concealment of truth, what did that say about the institution that embraced her? As days passed, more details emerged, not in the form of press conferences, but through controlled leaks and subtle shifts in official tone. Camilla's apartments were vacated, her security detail reassigned. Her name disappeared from palace communications, and while there were no public denouncements, the message was unmistakably clear. Her chapter in royal history was closed. Camilla herself maintained a stony silence. No interviews, no statements, not even a carefully worded denial through spokespeople. Her absence became louder than any rebuttal could have been. Those close to her reportedly described her as devastated, betrayed, even shocked by the sudden turn. Whether she had underestimated William's conviction or believed her past would remain buried, it was evident she had not anticipated such a decisive fall from grace. This seismic event, beyond its personal drama, signaled a new era of accountability in royal affairs. The old ways, of protecting the crown at all costs, of burying secrets beneath the weight of tradition, no longer held sway. The royal family was changing, and with it the standards by which its members would be judged. No longer was service and loyalty enough. Integrity, transparency, and emotional truth were now the currencies of royal legitimacy. William's revelation also reopened national wounds. Diana's death had left a scar on the British psyche, a moment of collective grief and confusion that had never quite healed. The suggestion that key figures within the royal family may have had knowledge or influence over the conditions leading to her demise brought a resurgence of that grief. It was as if the nation had been pulled back into 1997, reliving the sense of loss, but this time with a deeper, more bitter sense of betrayal. For Camilla, there would be no graceful exit, no royal farewell tour, or carefully crafted statement thanking the public. Her departure was marked only by silence and swift erasure. The woman who had once been ushered into the highest echelons of royal power now found herself outside the gates, stripped of status and significance. Her legacy, once cautiously rehabilitated, now hung in limbo, defined not by years of public duty but by a single revelation. Even as the royal family tried to regain its footing, questions continued to mount. Would there be an official investigation? Would other figures within the palace be implicated? And what of Charles? Could his reign survive this scandal intact? The ripple effects of Camilla's removal had only just begun, but their reach already extended into every corner of royal life. In the court of public opinion, a reckoning was underway. The monarchy, once shielded by mystique and tradition, now faced the full glare of modern scrutiny. And at the heart of it all stood Prince William. Not just as a grieving son seeking justice, but as a leader willing to confront painful truths, even at the cost of tearing down what had been built to protect them. What made the moment all the more astonishing was the timing. Just as the monarchy was attempting to redefine itself for the 21st century, focusing on modernization, streamlining its operations, and connecting with younger generations, it was thrown backward into its darkest chapter. The specter of Diana had returned, not as a memory but as a force capable of altering the future. Her voice, long silenced, now echoed through the choices of her son. Camilla's removal was not merely about guilt or innocence, it was about the symbolic restoration of truth. It was a dramatic unraveling of decades of curated narratives and suppressed pain. William's bold action shattered the illusion that time had healed all wounds. It proved that justice, however delayed, still carried weight within the monarchy's halls. As the world watched, one thing became clear. The era of silent suffering and dutiful silence was over. A new monarchy was emerging, one not afraid to confront its past, to purge its secrets, and to rebuild on foundations of honesty, no matter how painful the cost. Camilla's exit marked the end of an era, but also the beginning of something far more unpredictable and perhaps more genuine. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Camilla getting kicked out? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.